Hi, everybody. I'm Skip Elsheimer. Welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime streaming show, where we watch old 16mm films, and hopefully I'll figure out why YouTube didn't allow for chat last time. That's annoying because I love reading your comments as you're watching the films and commenting on things. So I apologize if you had some things you wanted to say and it just didn't work out. And I also apologize if that's not the case. I just, when we stream these things pre-recorded, I'm not there to see what's going wrong, and so it's hard to diagnose in post. Anyways, I am on the West Coast. My partner and I, Katrina and I, are in Santa Barbara visiting some friends, and I wanted to say thanks to everybody who came out to the San Francisco show. That was awesome. And we're doing a show on Saturday in Los Angeles at the Alamo Drafthouse at noon. And we're showing, again, those traumatizing films under the name Now I Know Why You're Scared. There was a lot of groaning, a lot of people holding their heads and their faces going, no, which is always great. But hopefully we kind of soldiered through it, and we helped address some of the anxieties that people had about riding a school bus or taking a lot of downers while drinking wine, etc. So I wanted to say that also we're down to the finals with the toe tapping tournament. It's Zip Code Song versus Run for Your Life. Both of those are very strong songs, and I know it's going to be hard. I've already gotten comments and votes where people are like, I don't know, this is really difficult, but we're going to go for it. We're going to pick the number one toe-tapping song from AV Geeks. We are going to pick the four songs that were in the final four we're going to use to challenge the Found Footage Festival and beat them once again. That's basically what's going to happen. So today we've been doing theme shows, and this one, so we did bananas yesterday. Today we're going to do insurance. So, I know what you're thinking. We're going to watch a bunch of films about insurance. What are you, crazy? Yes, we are. But they're fascinating films nonetheless. They really are kind of interesting in what they talk about and how they talk about things. Plus, one of them has a toe-tapping song in it that we have put in the past, we had up as a candidate in the past. So we're going to watch today 3 films. Life Insurance Occupations, which is part of the Your Life Work series. Then Is a Career in Finance, Insurance, or Real Estate for You? And finally, Invisible Force, which is a wonderful film that talks about insurance and how helpful it is. So, if you like what you saw, we would always love a thumbs up or a like. We also like coffee, so you can send us coffee at ko-fi.com/avgeeks. You can also go to patreon.com/avgeeks and donate there. But just watch other films that we have in our collection on YouTube. Those are monetized with ads, and we make a little bit of money from that. But it's not all about the money. It's really about you guys watching this stuff and processing it and recommending it to friends and family or enemies. But I appreciate you guys being there. I'm sorry that I'm not there, but I will be there next week. So one more pre-recorded show tomorrow, and then I'll be back. Everybody have a great rest of your day, and we will see you, quote unquote, tomorrow. Everybody take care. Bye.
One of the most precious things in the world is time. For time is the essence of life. Units of time in days, months, years are the measure of the lifespan of every human being. While no one can predict the lifespan of an individual child or even that of an elderly grandfather, Nevertheless, the life expectancy of large groups of people can be readily determined by experts in the life insurance field. For example, insurance statistics show that out of 10,000 people of 35 years of age, 6,400, or about 64%, can be expected to reach the age of retirement. Using facts such as these, life insurance companies have issued policies to more than half our population. Added up, these policies amount to about $4,700 for each American family. Financial protection is thus provided to individuals desiring security in their later years, as well as in cases of emergency. Until needed to pay these policy benefits, most of the premium dollars paid by policyholders to their insurance companies are used to finance the expansion of industry and commerce, the operations of railroads and other transportation systems, the costs of certain local, state, and national government activities, the development of utilities such as electric power, light, and gas companies, and the construction of multiple housing projects in urban areas. In analyzing the operations of life insurance companies, which provide employment for more than 300,000 men and women, it is apparent that a great variety of talents and abilities contribute to the process of issuing a policy and keeping that policy in force until it is paid out to the policyholder or beneficiary. In order to understand the functions of the life insurance home office and to study the job opportunities it provides, let's start from the moment the life insurance agent secures a written application for life insurance. The application is then mailed to the home office of the life insurance company. Thousands of such forms from agents and medical examiners throughout the country are received at the home office, and after sorting and classifying, are delivered to the lay underwriters. The job of the lay underwriter is to determine whether the applicant can qualify for life insurance. The lay underwriter's responsibility is great, for his decision must be fair, both to the applicant and to the company. The decision is reached only after careful study of the agent's part of the application, the medical report from the local doctor, and perhaps a report from the Inspection Bureau relative to the financial, physical, and moral status of the applicant. Qualifications for this position include a thorough knowledge of life insurance, finance, and economics, ability to understand medical reports, and a knowledge of occupations and the hazards they may entail. Working closely with the underwriter is the medical department staffed with doctors. The doctors function in an executive capacity, assisting the lay underwriter in appraising applicants for insurance, selecting and supervising the practicing physicians in the field who examine applicants for life insurance. Definite working hours are enjoyed by the home office doctor. At the same time, he can contribute to medical research through his studies of the trends in disease and illness. Information from medical reports on policyholders is filed for future reference. File clerks in this department must be accurate and diligent in their work, for an error in the records could cause serious complications in either issuing policies or in paying claims. The cost of insurance is determined by experts who plan the features of all of the life insurance policies, the actuaries. The job of the actuary is one of the most important in the life insurance company. He is to life insurance what the engineer is to bridge building. The actuary determines the basic facts upon which the company operates. He is the mathematical expert who prepares statistics regarding length of life, establishes premium rates, computes policy values, and forecasts probable results. To be an actuary, one should be a college or university graduate with a major in mathematics and with better than average ability. One should also study law, economics, finance, accounting, English composition, and other cultural subjects. To achieve professional status, he must pass a series of 8 examinations offered jointly by the 2 professional actuarial organizations. It usually takes from 6 to 9 years of part-time study on the job to complete the series. Due to the actuary's comprehensive training, he is qualified for higher administrative positions, particularly if he shows ambition, initiative, and the ability to work with people. His duties require frequent consultation with key executives, such as the president and treasurer of the company. The president is in close contact with the treasurer, who plans the financial policies of the company and supervises all funds. Among the personnel in the treasurer's department are the cashiers, in charge of all cash transactions, incoming as well as outgoing. Then there are the controllers, accountants, and auditors, who supervise the general books and records of the company. The manual labor is greatly reduced by bookkeeping machines, tabulating machines, automatic check writers, addressagraphs, and many others. The Treasurer's Department may also be responsible for wise investment of company funds. This function is directed by experienced financial advisors, including mortgage experts, real estate appraisers, and securities analysts. All legal problems in connection with life insurance company operations are usually managed by a staff of professionally qualified lawyers. They guide the company through the various complexities of legal matters, supervise the writing of policy contracts, and advise agents and field representatives on issues that may affect the interests of policyholders and company alike. The claims department is responsible for paying the beneficiary the amount due on the death of the insured. There are no schools or colleges to instruct in claims examining. Experience alone is the only teacher. And as in most careers in life insurance, the real training begins on the job after you get started with the company. For this reason, many who plan on life insurance careers can find initial openings as clerks, stenographers, machine operators, or file clerks in the home office, and work up to higher paying positions of greater responsibility. Special skills required for these jobs are typing, to handle the heavy home office correspondence, shorthand, to take dictation, or the ability to operate a stenotype or transcribing machine in order to take dictation at high speed. Mechanical devices are numerous in the home office, and special skills are necessary to operate equipment such as key punching machines, photostat machines, tabulators, duplicating machines, and postage metering machines. Young men and women just out of high school and without special skills are often hired as clerks if they show promise of being able to advance. Most life insurance companies make every effort to aid the advancement of employees. Educational programs are offered to home office personnel. Employees are encouraged to study for self-improvement. Some work for degrees which carry professional recognition. All may acquire skills that will aid them to qualify for better positions with the company. Other benefits generally enjoyed by employees include a 5-day work week, planned social and recreational activities, vacations with pay, and low-cost insurance programs combining group life, accident and health, and hospitalization. The job opportunities are numerous, and there are places for unskilled beginners as well as highly trained technicians and professional men. Office work in life insurance as a career offers many advantages. It is a growing business, a business founded on a basic need in human nature for protection and security. In life insurance, you are part of a service that contributes to the welfare of your country and your fellow citizens. You'll find satisfaction and security if you select life insurance as your life work.
What you gonna do when the time comes and you have to earn your way? What you gonna do when the time comes
How about a career in finance? Or insurance? Or real estate? If you like working with figures, or like to help people, and want to work directly with them, a career in the finance, insurance, and real estate industry may be for you. Just about everybody, you, I, every company, as well as every organization you can name, makes use of the many and often complex services offered by the finance, insurance, and real estate industry. These services are provided by approximately 4 million men and women who make their livelihood in the industry. All three areas are major sources of job opportunities for women. They hold more than half of the jobs. Somewhat less than half of those in the industry are owners, managers, supervisors, and salesmen. They deal largely with people. Most of the others work primarily with data, with statistics, rates, premiums, interest, dividends, stocks, bonds, and taxes. So you can better judge whether or not this industry may be the career area for you. Let's take a closer look at each specific field. The world of finance includes banks, savings and loan associations, credit unions, stockbrokers, stock exchanges, mutual funds, and the regulating organizations that oversee the financial industry. Banks are traditionally the department stores of finance because of the variety of services they offer. From personal checking accounts to letters of credit to finance world trade. They administer trusts and personal estates, lend money to individuals, business, educational, and religious organizations. More than 800,000 men and women work for commercial banks all over the country, and thousands more for mutual savings and Federal Reserve banks. High school is enough preparation for most clerical jobs in banking. Professional and managerial employees usually have completed college. Many millions of Americans all over the country own stocks in industrial and business corporations. All kinds of people are investors. They buy and sell these shares of ownership and other securities through stock exchanges like this. Transactions are handled for the investor by the security salesman or stockbroker who relays the buy or sell order through his firm's order room to the floor of the exchange. Security salesmen are employed by hundreds of brokerage firms, investment banks, and mutual funds in main and branch offices, mostly in the larger cities. Salesmen must know the pros and cons of different kinds of investments, market trends, latest stock and bond prices, the activities and financial position of corporations. Specialized training is not required for beginners, but a college degree is helpful, especially one in business administration or economics. Most employers provide training for beginning salesmen, many for as long as 6 months. Almost all states require the security salesman to be licensed, and he must pass an examination and be registered as a representative of his firm. Advancement for security salesmen is usually an increase in the number and importance of the accounts they handle. Experienced salesmen may advance to branch office manager. Some move up to partnerships in their companies or to other administrative positions. Many in data-oriented jobs are required to complete buy or sell transactions. Order clerks, figuration clerks, comparison, receive and delivery, box, transfer, and margin clerks. You must have a high school diploma for most clerical jobs. One in business education is particularly helpful. Most jobs in finance are salaried. However, securities salesmen normally work on a salary plus commission. Experienced securities representatives on a straight commission. Generally, employees work the usual business hours, but many securities salesmen must work evenings and weekends as well to catch prospects in. The world of insurance sells policies or contracts to its customers, under which they are protected against financial loss from many kinds of hazards. Nearly 5,000 insurance companies and many related organizations employ almost 1.5 million people in the United States. Approximately 1/3 are insurance agents or brokers selling directly to individuals and organizations, and almost half are in data-oriented clerical occupation. While the great majority of clerical personnel is employed in the big home offices of insurance companies, almost all salespeople work out of local offices in towns and cities throughout the country, some even out of their homes. Some agents work for a single company. Others are independent businessmen who, under contract, represent one or more companies. It's a little different with brokers. They place policies with any company they think provides the best coverage for their clients. Beginners get moderate salaries or advances on commission. Thereafter, most agents and brokers are paid on a commission basis. A knack for selling, the ability to get along easily with people, to create confidence, these are important to the agent. He must be able to evaluate his client's insurance needs and explain policy terms clearly. And he's got to have the initiative to dig up new prospects. While generally not required, college training, particularly in accounting, finance, business law, and insurance subjects, would be a great aid to the agent. New agents usually receive training at the home office. In other cases, it's on-the-job training under experienced supervision. Promotion is frequently from within. Agents with sales and leadership ability can move up to a position of sales or agency manager, even to top management in the home office. Some go into business for themselves. Among other kinds of insurance workers is the field representative. He helps agents to increase the amount of insurance they sell for his company. The claims adjuster decides how much the actual loss covered by insurance amounts to. Once you sign an application for insurance, it goes to a man with a keen mind and eye for detail, the home office underwriter. He determines whether the company should write the policy or not. Many underwriters are former agents. The actuary is a highly respected member of the insurance team. He studies various risks and determines what the premium rate should be on each type of policy. The actuary is in a good position to move up to top management. The insurance industry needs other professional people as well. Accountants, safety engineers who work on accident prevention, lawyers, and investment analysts who see that billions of dollars are invested wisely. As more computers are installed to handle office records, more programmers and systems analysts are being employed. Mountains of paperwork in the insurance industry require the efforts of hundreds of thousands of clerical workers. There's opportunity to move up to more responsible positions. Jobs are more secure than in many other industries. Real estate is another area in which the great bulk of the workers are employed in sales or in clerical jobs. Most employees work for small offices in which there may be several salesmen and a secretary. However, some firms in the cities have large staffs. Real estate brokers are independent businessmen. Brokers and salesmen who work for them are agents who sell and rent industrial, residential, and commercial properties for the owners. Brokers may also manage properties, such as office buildings and apartments. They may make appraisals, arrange for mortgages, and develop building projects. Some combine other work, such as selling insurance. One important job for the salesman is to obtain listings, getting owners to place properties for sale with his company. The real estate agents should know about values and such things as schools and stores and tax rates and insurance needs. The agents specializing in selling and leasing industrial, commercial, or farm property must have information at hand that prospects need, such as business trends, labor supply, soil types. Commissions on sales are the usual source of earnings. In most cases, you have to sell to get paid. It can be pretty tough on some beginners. Agents must often meet with customers at night and on weekends. Employers prefer young people who have at least a high school education. Most real estate agents have had some college, and many are graduates. In all states, agents must pass an examination and be licensed. Advancement can be to sales or general manager of a large firm. The agent may open his own office. He may become a specialist in property management, in appraising, in mortgage financing, or real estate counseling. Throughout the finance, insurance, and real estate industry, employment is expected to increase moderately in the years ahead, somewhat more rapidly in finance than in the other two sectors. Now, you may see yourself in one or more of the occupations in this industry. But before you make a decision, you will want to know about the many other career opportunities in the world of work. See the other titles in this library of 40 career counseling films. Dig into occupational information on your own. Talk with your school counselor and with your parents. See the people at your state employment service office. They can give you the local picture, employment outlook, wages, job qualifications, and other conditions in your community. Then, really knowing about the world of work, choose your just right career from all the areas you like and are suited for. Plan with your counselor. Decide on the education and training you'll need to qualify for it. Determine if you can explore it through part-time work in the field. Get working on your program. You'll be ready and able to take your rightful and rewarding place in the world of work.
What you gonna do when the time comes and you have to earn your way? What you gonna do when the time comes and you have to earn your pay? What will you do when you're finally on your own? What will you do when you're finally on your own?
What will you really do?
Listen, the homey sounds of a town waking up. There's Tommy Cassidy, Jr., delivering the same paper his dad used to. Yes, this is my town. It could be the place where you live, too. We have a pretty good cross-section of America. At first, only families like the Hunters and the Witherspoons. Then came the Checkerinis and the Schmidts, the Feldbergs and the O'Grady's, and many more. Together, we've built a town to be proud of. This monument is to one of the founders of our town. He was also a signer of the Declaration of Independence. I knew him quite well. I come here often. Permit me to introduce myself. My name is John Hendricks. Oh, I've had other names, too, throughout history. Don't let my magical appearance bother you. I can disappear just as easily. It's all in the signet ring, which is going to help me tell you a remarkable story. 300 years ago, all this was a plain stretch of beach. From this barren shore, who then could have looked ahead and visualized our world today? Movies, radio and TV dinners, the miracles of modern surgery, even to the repairing of a human heart to prolong life. Automobiles, jet planes, space flight, yet it took more than just work and imagination to create all the things we now take for granted. One of the factors that have made our way of life possible is still a mystery to a good many people. I call it the invisible force. It's all around us, right now, but we can't see it. It's like electricity. We can't see that either. But we can see what it does. Let's visit the harbor, shall we? Ships always draw me, like a magnet. Our story is closely associated with shipping. That's why I see a connection between this modern harbor and a certain ancient Phoenician port. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. According to the proposition you presented to me yesterday,
The cargo bond?
yes, the bond, you will advance me the money for a cargo. If the ship I send reaches Sardinia with my goods safe, I repay you. But if the cargo is lost, the loan is canceled.
Correct.
In return for which, I must share my profits with you.
As I also share your losses, if any.
Yes, but I must also...
Wait here in Sardinia. Pirates lie in wait.
Yes,
This is the season of storms.
yes.
And navigators, sometimes they follow their noses instead of the stars.
Well, I know it.
With this bond, I am assuming your financial risk with you.
Yes, but I must add your fee to the price of my goods.
Or which is better, to have goods at higher prices or to have nothing.
I accept. To bear alone the total loss would ruin me.
A wise decision.
Yours is an interesting signet.
The helmet. It symbolizes protection.
A good omen.
There's your bond. Regardless of what the fates may decree, you can be assured that on this voyage, someone else is sharing your risks with you.
And a good feeling it is. It also means that now I can afford to undertake it. My thanks to you.
Go with honor.
May all the gods grant us a fair voyage.
Well, by this time, you probably realize you've seen the beginning of the insurance business. And that insurance is the invisible force. As early as 1000 BC, it was helping extend commerce and with it civilization throughout the known world. The invisible force continued to grow and expand for the next 2,000 years to meet the needs of shipping. Welcome to London town and the 11th century. You see me as a transplanted banker from Lombardy. Over in Westminster, King Edward the Confessor is building a church, an abbey, that he hopes will stand as a monument to his reign for 1,000 years to come. And you know something? It will. But to explain my presence, a few of us Lombards came from the northern Italian coast to England to expand our business of insuring maritime traders. And we are doing very well. Tonight, a group of us are considering the application of a Swedish sea captain. Pray continue, sir.
From Marseille, I sailed to Genoa, where I exchange my silk for oil. Thence to Alexandria, where I take on spices brought in by caravan. From there, I return to London.
Thank you, Captain Nortonshield. In general, we approve your plans. However, our examination of your ship shows a need for some new timbers and caulking for it. You take care of that, and we'll guarantee your voyage against loss.
Agreed.
You're the first Svenska captain to come to us. We'd like you to tell the others that we Lombards stand ready to help you in two ways. Because we have an interest in the vessels we insure, we make certain they're safe. And by using the law of large numbers.
Excuse me, what law is that?
Well, I should say the principle of large numbers. For instance, suppose we insure only 2 ships, and one of them foundered. Then the loss would be high. On the other hand, if we have insured 100 ships and one of them sinks, then the loss is relatively small compared to the large number of safe voyages completed. By spreading the risk in this way, we can provide insurance protection for each ship, including yours, at a lower cost. Will you please carry our cordial greetings to your countrymen?
That I will. Good night, gentlemen. Good night, your worthiness.
You see how we are constantly extending the invisible force? It is now helping take ships to the far corners of the earth and back. And in one of the corners, men are going to discover the new world. Meanwhile, close to home, the need for another kind of insurance will grow, born out of one of the most terrible disasters. The Great Fire of London in 1666. 13,000 homes and buildings are lost, and many lives. The city burns for 4 days and nights. I observed the tragic suffering and the financial despair of the small homeowners. After this crushing loss, will London ever be rebuilt? As Dr. Nicholas Barbon, I do something very simple to extend the invisible force and make it possible for London to rise again. As a result, I will become known as the father of fire insurance.
Fire insurance on buildings and homes? I never heard of it before.
Well, the idea is new. Insurance on land. Of course, we've insured shipping in the high seas for many years.
Yes, I've heard of that.
Well, if it works so well on water, why should it not be equally valuable against hazards on land?
And fire's one of the worst.
Exactly. And because we're insuring so many of your neighbors against that kind of loss again, we can provide protection at a rate low enough for you to afford. This is the period when thousands of hardy Englishmen become colonists, setting forth with their wives and their children to build new homes and new lives in America. Those who have turned their backs on the old world are determined to create a new one, where their ideals can flourish in freedom. One of the concepts they carry with them is insurance protection. In 1752, the people of Philadelphia, remembering London's great fire, organized companies of volunteer firemen. Among their membership are many famous names.
Ben Franklin.
Yes, Charles?
Before we disband the meeting, gentlemen, now that we have a board of directors and are going to get a charter, I feel we need to change our name.
Well, I've always rather liked Hand in Hand.
Oh, for a bucket brigade, yes. But for a fire insurance company, it's not, well, it's not impressive enough.
Have you a suggestion?
Well, no. Maybe John has.
John?
Well, what about the Philadelphia contribution ship for the insurance of houses from loss by fire?
What John suggests has a nice sound to it. As poor Richard would say, names should be like mirrors, reflecting the true picture. Come along, John. We'll go over to the Gazette office and reflect on this one. Good day, gentlemen.
Good day, Ben. You know, my friends, I think John Hendricks has given us a very good, sound idea. After all, that's exactly what we're trying to do. If each of us...
And the company is so chartered, others soon follow. The idea of insurance spreads. The young nation is reaching out beyond the mountains, into the valleys of the Ohio, the Mississippi. Ribbons of steel follow in the trail of the Conestoga wagons, helping to create cities and industries. Agents for the young insurance companies travel across America by any means they can, operating farther and farther from their home offices, and carrying the invisible force westward and deeper into the lives of the people. In the late 1800s, by the time this traveling salesman makes a call at a customer's plant, the workers are protected by what is called employer's liability insurance. The next step, workman's compensation, with medical benefits for injured employees and financial help during recovery. But even that isn't enough. For instance, this man is not an employee here. Fortunately for everyone concerned, there is a new form of insurance, public liability, to protect you against accidents to other people on your property. Teams of horses cause accidents too. For them, we devise teams liability. Yet we have no idea how difficult insurance problems can become until the automobile arrives on the scene. We thought we had problems in the good old days, but they were nothing to what they would be in the future. Today, we watch skyscrapers tower higher than the world has ever known, bridges reaching farther than the world has ever seen. Industry and commerce are expanding beyond belief. In In the climate of freedom that fostered America's industrial expansion, the privately owned insurance companies have been growing along with the country, and at the same time helping the country to grow. New forms of coverage and services are developed by the competing companies to meet new needs and to provide low-cost protection for our way of life. My town, USA, has its full share of these things. So does yours. In this day and age, the protection of insurance is all around us in more ways than anyone can number. Listen, I love the Sunday morning concert at the Bells, don't you? No doubt where you live, you've learned to tell the bells apart, too. Now that one is the new St. Stephen's Church. Do you know how the invisible force helped to make a building like this possible? From the first day of construction, the unseen force was at work. That's Cary Donald. I remember his great-great-grandfather, a canny Scotsman. Cary's the general contractor. First of all, to guarantee that the building would be finished in accordance with the contract, Cary put up a performance bond and required similar bonds from his subcontractors, like Jeb Harris, the plumber. If Jeb doesn't finish his job properly, Cary's protected against financial loss. Cary also has workman's compensation on all his employees. If any one of them is hurt, he'll be taken care of. In addition, he took out policies for public liability. Just as it removes the uncertainties from the building of this one church, the invisible force safeguards America's total construction program. In so doing, it contributes to our economy in other ways we may not always see. Consider for a moment the money being paid to the many construction workers. The cost of all the different materials used, and the salaries being paid to all the thousands of people in all the plants that produce these materials. Multiply this by the millions of buildings, large and small, across the face of our continent, and you begin to feel the power of the invisible force. Power for our nation. This giant hydroelectric dam also required insurance, including a huge surety bond to guarantee its completion. Here, another kind of unseen force is being born, atomic energy. New forms of insurance are meeting the needs of the atomic age. Our mass production and distribution system embraces the entire spectrum of risks, and many forms of insurance are required to cover them all. Without such protection, our complex business organizations would not function so smoothly, and as individuals, we could not have our high standard of living. This is Eric Anderson and family, on the way home from church. One of their greatest possessions is their home. They could buy it on credit because of insurance. Without this protection, they either could not have borrowed the money, or the interest rates would have been more than they could afford. The Andersons know that if anything should ever happen to their home, windstorm, fire, burglary, or even if someone should be injured on their property, they will be protected against financial loss. The man who helped them buy this low-cost, carefree assurance, whose business it is to help select the type of protection to fit any given need, is Tom Cameron. Tom is an insurance agent, but right now, as a member of the local Board of Education, he is concentrating on other things.
By adding a wing to the east end, we can take care of the increased enrollment we know is coming. Now, I've summarized the idea in these brochures you have in front of you. Shall we read and discuss them now?
There are about 200,000 independent agents and brokers in this country. Like Tom Cameron, they contribute something more than just insurance advice to their communities. They look for ways to serve as citizens. It's a natural outgrowth of their business. For service is the very heart of the invisible force. Watchful eyes in research and testing laboratories supported by insurance companies are constantly observing tests of all kinds of materials. The more safety that can be built into things, the less insurance protection will cost. Few are aware of the contribution our industry is making every year to fire and accident prevention. In the continuing campaign against fire, our inspectors work with the town and city fire departments to study the adequacy of the water supply for firefighting, the location of hydrants, the efficiency of alarm systems and other fire defense measures. In the field of accident prevention, trained men, called safety engineers, go everywhere, looking for ways to stop accidents before they happen. Millions of dollars every year are spent on safety education. One of the biggest efforts of all deals with safety on the highways. Thousands of accidents are prevented, but more must be done. The growth of America's huge auto industry has been aided by the invisible force because the majority of car owners could not have obtained the credit to buy their cars without insurance, and few would dare to drive without it. What can we do about auto wrecks? This car was skidded into a ditch by a drunken driver. We can impose heavy penalties for drunken driving. And this one was run through a red light by a woman who had 10 traffic tickets. We can take driving privileges away from people with bad records. A teenager was speeding. Studies show that more accidents are caused by male drivers under 25 than by any other group. So insurance costs them more. On the other hand, it is also a fact that teenagers who take driver education in school have fewer accidents. So most companies give them a discount. The average car owner is more conscious of the cost of his automobile insurance than he is of most other forms. He sometimes wonders by what mysterious process the rates or premiums are set. Auto rates in any given area reflect the number of accidents and their cost. The process is not mysterious, really. It's all quite scientific. Most rates are computed by rating bureaus. These experts are called actuaries. They work in all fields: automobile, fire, liability, theft, and so forth. They are specialists in the assembling and analyzing of facts and losses, which are then run through computers. In this way, rates are established which will be sufficient to pay for losses, but will not be excessive. Here again, the principle of large numbers applies. On the basis of experience, insurance men know that about 1 out of 4 automobiles on the road today will meet with an accident in a given year. And we have drivers by the millions. There are hundreds of competing companies selling all types of insurance. These companies are owned by millions of people, stockholders and policyholders. This makes it a typically American business, of the people, for the people. the big winds leave as suddenly as they come. Born in the storms of the seas 3,000 years ago, insurance protects us today from the storms of the land. And as quickly as the tempest dies, insurance adjusters are there to pay claims fairly and promptly. In addition to homeowners, insurance may also reimburse store owners for the business they have lost because of fire or other catastrophes. Yes, the invisible force enables victims of disasters like this to build again, to pick up the pieces, and to go on with their lives. Well, we've come to the end of our day, and the end of a 3,000-year journey through time. I've shown you the invisible force, how it began, how it grew, and how it works today. You'll recognize it all around you. A penetrating and far-reaching force that means better living for us all.